Hello there! So today I'm going to be doing my Christmas book haul, or rather part one of my Christmas book haul. And these are going to be all the books that I purchased for myself with Christmas gift cards, as well as just my own money, because I knew that it was going to be my last really big haul. If you guys missed my resolutions video for 2016, one of my resolutions is to do the read 3 before you buy 1 deal. Basically what that means is that I'm going to force myself to read 3 books before I allow myself to buy 1 new book. And this is going to just help me to read through my TBR shelves and read the books that I actually own. So I really wanted to do that this year, and of course because I knew it was coming, I had to buy a lot of books before 2015 was over. Half of these books are adult and then half of them are YA, so you get a pretty wide variety. So I'm going to be starting with adult books, and the first book that I picked up is called My Education by Susan Choi. We'll go with that. This is a book that has been on my wish list for so long, and I finally decided that I needed to pick it up. I don't know a whole lot about it, but I do know that it is about a female college student who ends up falling for her college professor's wife, or something along those lines. It just sounded like a very different take on kind of a cliche subject. Usually it's like the student falls for the professor rather than the professor's spouse, but I thought it was definitely a cool take on it, so I really want to check this out, and yeah, I've heard that it's pretty interesting. The next book is another adult book, and it is called The End of Alice by A.M. Holmes. This is yet another book that's been on my wish list for so long. I don't know a whole lot about this book, but I do know that it takes place through the correspondence of a young girl and an inmate, someone who's been in jail for murder, I believe it is. I haven't heard anyone talk about this, so if you guys have, definitely let me know. I would love to hear more. The next book I picked up is The Danish Girl by David Ebershoff. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it. I saw the trailer for this movie and instantly wanted to see it, but then I found out it was a book and decided that I wanted to read the book first, so I intend to do that eventually. The next book is The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. If you guys watch my channel, you know that I've read this. I actually read this back in 2015, but I saw this edition on the Book Depository's website and I really wanted it for a while, and the price went down and I just felt like it was time to get it, so I did, and I'm so pleased that I did. The next book is Less Than Zero by Bret Easton Ellis. This is another book that I've read many times. I really enjoy Bret Easton Ellis's work, but I wanted to get this edition. It's another edition that I found on the Book Depository, and I eventually want to collect all of Bret Easton Ellis's work in this same edition, which is by Picador. I don't know, I really like it and I wanted to get it, and the price went down, so yes. The next book is The Miniaturist by Jessie Burton. This is a book that I heard a lot about on BookTube during 2015. It's about a woman who lives in 1686 Amsterdam, and she moves into her house with her husband, who I believe is a painter or some kind of artist, and he gifts her a dollhouse, which is like a perfect replica of the house that she now lives in. And I think it's got like some magical realism elements to it. It kind of ends up being like a voodoo dollhouse, with that anything that happens to the dollhouse happens in these people's actual lives, which just sounds so creepy and so like an episode of Are You Afraid of the Dark that I felt like I needed to read it, so I had to get it. The next book that I picked up is called After Alice by Gregory Maguire. You guys know that I love me some Alice in Wonderland. I love Alice in Wonderland retellings. I love collecting different editions of Alice in Wonderland, and when I saw this one, I knew that I had to have it. This is actually a retelling, and it centers around Alice's friend Ada, who is actually a very small character in the original Alice in Wonderland, and I guess it's of Alice's friend following her into Wonderland or something along those lines. I don't know, but the cover is gorgeous. I had to get the UK edition, and Gregory Maguire is most famous for writing the Wicked series, which I've heard is amazing. I really do want to pick that up, but since this is Alice in Wonderland, I had to pick this one up first. So the next 3 books that I got are actually a box set, and it's a trilogy, and if you guys watched my resolutions video, you know that my new resolution for the year is to not buy entire series, or not to continue buying books in a series that I haven't started yet. But I've wanted this box set for a while, and like I said, I was just doing all of my sinning towards the end of 2015, all my book sinning, because I knew that I was gonna have to stop in the new year. So I went ahead and got this one, and it is The Magician's Trilogy by Lev Grossman. These books are gorgeous. I just adore them. But I am annoyed about one thing, being that the first book in the series has like someone wrote on it. It looks like it says fix, or I don't know, maybe that's lingo for like a bargain book, I don't know. But that's really annoying to me. I'm trying to ignore it. I thought about sending it back, but I figured it would just be too much of a hassle, but whatever. This is the first book in the series, The Magician. The second book in the series is The Magician's Land. And the third book in the series is The Magician King. And I love this cover. It just reminds me of like old fantasy. I don't know. I really dig it. I really wanted to start reading the Magician's trilogy before the Magician's premieres on Sci-Fi next week. I don't know if that's gonna happen anymore. I would like to at least read the first book, but again, I don't know if that's gonna happen anymore. It's currently January 19th. The premiere is on the 25th, so I don't know. Maybe I can make it happen. I should have planned ahead for this, but I have been wanting to read it because I really want to watch the show, and also Sana over at Inkbones Books raves about this series. This is one of her favorite trilogies, so I really just have wanted to pick it up for ages, and I finally decided to do so. Oh my gosh, don't look at me. I don't want you to see me through the window. Through the window! Okay, so the next few books that I have are all young adult, and I'm just gonna go ahead and get into them. The first is The Tales of Beetle the Bard by J.K. Rowling. If you have read or seen The Deathly Hallows, you'll know all about this. It's a companion book that takes place in the Harry Potter world. I've just always wanted to read this and never had, so I definitely want to do that sometime this year. It's just so cute and I can't resist. The next book is called Da Vinci's Tiger by L.M. Eliot. This is a historical fiction book, and it takes place in like Renaissance era, I believe. It's about a woman who inspired one of Leonardo da Vinci's portraits. I love The Girl with the Pearl Earring. It's one of my favorite books. The idea of it really reminded me of that book, and it got me excited, so I really am looking forward to checking out this one. The next book that I got is actually a book that I got in an owl crate that I didn't ever end up unboxing. I think it was November's owl crate, but it is Soundless by Rochelle Mead, and this is a book that has to do with Chinese folklore, and like it's about a village that no one can hear in, or no one can speak in, or maybe both. I've heard some mixed reviews on this. I wasn't like incredibly psyched to pick it up, and I probably wouldn't have if I didn't get it in an unboxing, but I was sent this, so I will definitely give it a try. The next book that I picked up is The Sin Eater's Daughter by Melinda Salisbury. This is about a young girl who I think she can kill people with her touch, and she works for an evil queen or something. So there's like a lot of court intrigue, and yeah, I don't know. I heard someone talk about it and they made it sound really good, so I decided to pick it up. It was like $6 on Book Depository, so I couldn't resist. The next book that I got is Stolen Songbird by Danielle L. Jensen. This is a book that Reagan over at Peruse Project recently read, and I'd had it on my favorites list for a really long time, but I hadn't heard anyone talk about it. And then when Reagan started talking about it, it reminded me about it, and I was like, oh, maybe I should pick it up. It's about witches and trolls and curses and spells. It sounds really good, and I think it's a trilogy. I've never read a book about trolls apart from the first Harry Potter, so yeah, I don't know. It's intriguing to me, and I'm excited to check it out. The next book that I picked up is The Raven Boys by Maggie Stiefvater. This is a really unique urban fantasy that I have heard so many people on BookTube rave about. Adriana over at Perpetual Pages, as well as Diana over at Novelty, love this book and this series, and I've been wanting to pick it up for ages. I knew that this was going to be one of the books that I got for myself for Christmas, so I will definitely be reading this year. I'm ready for a unique urban fantasy world, and this just seems like it's going to be perfect. The next book that I got is Gates of Thread and Stone by Lori M. Lee. Yeah, Lori M. Lee. This book follows a girl who can actually alter the threads of time, and it just sounds like a really cool concept to me, and I have not seen anyone talk about this book, so I really wanted to pick it up and see what it was all about so I could maybe share what it's all about with you guys. You know how BookTube goes. That's what we do here. The next book that I picked up is The Girl of Fire and Thorns by Ray Carson. This is yet another young adult fantasy that a lot of people really seem to enjoy. I don't know what it's about. I don't think I've ever read a synopsis, and I don't want to, because as cliche as this phrase is, I want to go into it blind. Don't know anything about it, don't want to know about it, but if you have read it and liked it, or even if you didn't like it, I would like to know that, so definitely let me know in the comments. And the last book that I picked up for myself for Christmas is Falling Kingdoms by Morgan Road. This is yet another huge YA fantasy. I think it's like way up there with the Throne of Glass series. Everybody seems to love it, and it's another one that I don't know about. When it comes to fantasy, I like to just go into the story and immerse myself in it and not really know anything about it, so that everything is new and just a new fresh experience. So yeah, I want to read it because it looks really good. Alright guys, so that's all for this video. I hope that you enjoyed it. In the comments below, I would love to know if you guys have read any of these books, if you liked them, if you didn't like them, what you thought about them, all that good stuff that you know I want to know. Let's just share. It's fair. Also, stay tuned for part 2 of this book haul. This is going to be a haul that consists of books that I received for Christmas from my friends and family, as well as like bookish items that I received. So I'm excited to share that one with you guys. It'll probably be up by Monday, I'm hoping, but if not, definitely the middle of next week. Alright guys, so that's all for this video. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I will see you in my next one.